Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, Carlos sent me the link to lesson 12, but I want to remind everybody that when you send me that lesson, make sure that you also upload all the other pages associated with it. If you choose to do 11, that's okay, then you're going to be missing a couple of pages. But if you choose to publish lesson 12, make sure all the other pages that are included in that root folder are added as well. That you upload those and make sure that the links to each of those pages work. That's really why I waited until lesson 11 to do that, to make sure that you understand when you have multiple pages that it's important to make sure that the links to each of those pages works. So that's why I returned the email to you, Carlos, saying that you need to make sure, go ahead and just continue publishing that and resend the link, and I'll give you full credit, but make sure that all the links work to all the pages. That's probably the most important part of all of that. Okay. Are there any other questions? So when we're on Infinity, we upload the HTML for those. Yeah. When you're on Infinity, you upload those other pages as well. Make sure that one of the pages is, and I don't care which one, but remember, you always need a single page that will, when I put in your URL, that will open up. And the file name for that page is index.html. So one of the pages that you've generated in lesson 12 or 11 will be a duplicate, okay? So it will have its original name, for example, like About Us or Green News or news.html, but then if that is also your home page, then you would also save that as index.html, and that will be the first one that loads, and that will become your home page. So when you're, go to your template, make sure that the home link is linked to index.html. Green News is linked to the Green News HTML. And then in Green Events, we have two links, remember, that go to the events page, that go to the calendar and the classes. Now, if you're publishing it from lesson 11, you won't have green travel. But you should have green tips, and an old version of it, you should have Contact Us and About Us. You should have those. Yeah, so just, if I've already given you credit for lesson 7, then go ahead and replace everything with the latest one, the most recent one, so I can give you credit for all of that. Okay. So yeah, today's going to be probably a short day. The last thing that I want to cover today in our lessons, but you aren't really responsible for the lesson, but if you would like and you want to include a contact information, I want to show you how you add a form. And I've never had success with a textbook in getting it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here. If you want to add, we've done, it's been automatic. It's been drag and drop in MobiRise, and they've just automatically added those forms in Wix. But we're going to do that manually. And I already have a form developed that you can copy and paste. So this is the one that I have in the lessons. And I'm going to show you where to get and how to get this to work. So I'm going to go back up here if we're ready to start. Are there any other questions? No? Okay, so let me go to split view here so we can look inside and scroll down so you can see, okay, all of this information is contained in something called a form, okay? And generally, I mean, this can be done a variety of different ways, but I believe the one that I'm using involves PHP, which I know very little about. So to do that, if we come down here to we click anywhere inside here, okay, you can see that I have what is called the form tag here. There's the opening tag, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to go all the way to the end, and I put it inside a section, nested it inside a section tag, and that's something that you should do. So I'm going to delete that. So that's all gone. Okay, so what I've done is I have an opening and closing section tag that are right after this add content here. That it could be placed anywhere, but this is as good a place as any to put it. So I'm going to put the cursor right here, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, I'm going to pull this down so you can see. And this is what I'm going to ask all of you to do if you do choose to include a contact page for your website. Okay, go to my contact page. Now, there is a very simple way to get the code for this. And to do so will depend on which browser you're using. At the moment, I have Chrome open. So what we want to do, and it's the same for all of them, and I'll show you each one how to gain access to it, is to go to View and go down to Developer, and then select View Source. So this is the source for that page. This is the entire page. What you want to do is to scroll down, and it's about in the middle of the page. Okay. And let me see where it is. It is, no, it's up here. I got to find it. There it is right here. Where you see the mail to right here, and it's after a closing tag of a header, and you'll see that here is the form. So what I want to do is I want to highlight the opening tag and go all the way to the end to the closing tag of the form and copy that, Command C. Okay, now I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to go back in here, and in code view, you need to paste. Now, I have done some basic formatting in here. You can do more if you wish. And what I did for this, before I get to the formatting, there's one little piece of code that you need to change. Okay, and that's it. Where it says right after form, it says action, mail to, and here it says kirkbmiller@gmail.com, and that's in quotes. You need to put your own email so that when someone submits the form, it will go to your email, not mine. Is that clear to everybody? I hope. So let me move this now. That's the only piece of code that you need to change. And then if you wish to style it, I can go ahead here and I'm going to select, this is section form is what I made for this. To do some very basic formatting. I'll go ahead and I'll remove that just to show you what that looks like without any formatting. It's pretty basic. I have the name, email, and a place for comments, and then the send button. So if you want to change the appearance of this at all, and that's what I did, is I selected the form, make sure that it was selected, and then I added a selector. and I renamed it. And because it is inside a section, I'm going to put it in, make sure that it's section space form. So any form that is inside a section tag would have these attributes. So now when I select that, make sure that that's spelled right. And I don't know that it is. Let's make sure that it's inside there because it worked a moment ago. So there's the form tag. It should be highlighting in blue, and it's not. So let me give it a try. I've got this here, and if not, I'm going to undo it a couple of steps and go back. So I'm going to go back to Alt, and we want to make sure that we have green styles selected or whatever you've named yours for yours. And I'm going to go in here to layout, and let's look at the background here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a background color, and I'll select this green and see if it works. Okay, it didn't work, so my bad. I'm going to undo, and I'm going to go back several steps to where I brought that back, and I may have misspelled or something. It's quite possible I misspelled section or form or didn't put a space. But there it is right there. Okay, so when you click on it, notice that the background of that form highlights in blue. And now I can go up here, and this is what I did. If you want to put a gradient, if I want to put a different color in here. So let's say, for example, I want to have a blue background. Okay, so now I have a blue background for that. If you want to change the font size, if you want to add padding, which is what I did at the bottom and the left, you can do that. So I can scroll down, actually scroll back up. And under padding, I added, you can go ahead and I can, you can see what happens when there is no padding to the left. It fits flush to the left. And so I added 20 pixels of padding there. And the same with the padding along the bottom. If I hide that, it butts, the send button butts right up against the bottom. So along the bottom, I added 20 pixels of padding along there. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's look at the type for a second. Let's see if we can change the size of that, or maybe the color. Let's go ahead and change the size. So we'll change the font size. We have medium is set by default. I'll go into percentage, and all that goes away. Let's go in and just to test it, see what happens at 100%. Okay. So that's the size at 100%. If you want it a little bit larger, you know, we could go ahead and I could put it in at 150%. You can see how it's all gotten a little bit larger, but also notice too how the comment box has changed, and that now extends beyond the border here. So that means I would need to select the form. So let me go ahead and select the form here using our form tag. And then I'm going to look at the properties panel down here, and I'm going to drag that up to show you. And with the form, this particular box selected here under text area, you'll notice that it has columns 50. Well, let's go ahead and let's drop that back to 25 to see what happens. And now you can see that it's smaller and it will fit within that box. And that's what you need to work with. So maybe 40, columns would work a little bit better. Okay, and then 5 rows by default. If I had, the person can put as many, I have it unlimited, but if I had 3 rows, you'll notice that it's a little bit smaller, but the person adding a comment to this text area, I have it unlimited. They can they can put in whatever amount that they want. So those are some of the changes that you can make through the properties panel for those. To add a width, to decide whether you can disable it, you can make it required. So you may have noticed that, for example, if I select the name or the input for the name here, we can make this required. I could also establish the email here for this and make this right here for mail, make it required, that if they fill anything out, that has to be put in. So you can decide whether those are absolutely necessary or not. Maybe they don't need a comment. So if I come in here, that isn't required. They don't need to add any comments in there. And that's it. You have it. So we're into 20 minutes and that's it. Let me show you though in other, how to get the code in other browsers. So the next one that I have is Safari here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And it's almost the same way. Go to the page, and you can go to any of my pages really, because mine are not protected. So for example, if you go to my About page and you want to see the code that was used for all of this, you simply go to View and you come down here. It should be about midway. Where is it in here? Oh, come on, come on, come on. I just had it. So not translation, text encoding, no. It should be, oh, I'm sorry, different location. It's under developers, I think. So what I want to do here, it's under develop. Again, it varies from browser to browser. And I think here, mine should be show page source. There we go, that's it. So with Safari, if that's the one that you're using, it's under the develop tab at the top, and it's about a little above midway, and it would be show page source. And there you go. And it splits the page. And again, you need to scroll down. And this is the whole page. So let's switch. And I'm going to use a different page here. Let's go back to the contact page. And here's my contact page. So you can see the code for the entire page. And scroll down until you find the, let's see, the form tag. Here's the opening tag for the form, and highlight everything until you get to the very end. And there's the end of the form tag, and then just copy and then paste it inside your page, and it will have to be pasted inside code view. So that would be for, this is for Safari. So let's go ahead and also look at Firefox. That would be another one. I'm going to go ahead and move this up. I don't know that you can see that. So I'm going to go back to the page that we were at before. Here we go. And I'll bring the Firefox page down. And again, to see the code, again, similar to Google Chrome, they have a View tab. So it's not a Develop tab, that's Safari's. Under View, come down here, and I want under Develop, come on. Let's make sure that I've got it selected here. View, maybe they don't, maybe, oh, I'm sorry, it's also Tools. So under Firefox, it is also Tools, and go to Web Developer, excuse me, and then down here at the bottom, it's page source. And again, this is where you'll find the code for the entire page. If you want to see how someone has structured their page, and the code is visible, you can copy this entire bit of page and you can paste it in a new document. It isn't based on any templates or anything. It won't copy the styles, but it will give you a basic structure and content for the entire page and all their links and everything. So that's how that works. So I'm going to go back out of there, move this up. And that's it. There you have it. Do you guys have any questions today? Short class today. Less than a half an hour. No? Let me go ahead and look at all the participants. Let me go ahead and continue taking roll. If there's anybody else. David is here. He came on here. So let me go back up here. To Chrome. And I'm going to move that up. Oh, there is one. Okay. So under the chat. Okay, Dan, no questions. That's pretty clear for everybody. So I'm not sure what to do next week, since next week is next week is Thanksgiving. And I wanted to show you the new material for which you're not responsible after Thanksgiving. So Carlos, you want me to show you, assist you in publishing lesson 12. I can do that. So if we're good for today, then I'll go ahead and I'll pause the recording. And for those of you who aren't having any difficulties publishing, then you're free to leave. And that will be it. So that's it for today. Okay. So I'm going to wave goodbye. I'm going to pause the recording here.